When it comes to selling, a sale is the ultimate commitment from both the buyer and the seller to close more sales and complete larger transactions. It's crucial you understand as many different techniques as possible so you can figure out which one or two works best for you. For some sales professionals, they only need one technique because their industry may be small, or they may have perfected it from years of practice. For others, they may need an array of techniques because each customer can present a different set of unique challenges. It's worth remembering that every technique can have its useful qualities, no matter what stage of the process you're at. It's also important to note that your work hasn't finished just because the ink on the contract is signed. In theory, each step you take in the sales cycle should always be leading to your overall goal of completing the sale and building a working relationship with your customer or client. It's a great idea to have a strategy in your mind so you can keep focused on the task ahead. Otherwise, without knowing where you're going, you may find yourself not getting there at all. If you want to become an elite sales professional, your objective should always be to look at the sales process in stages and get the buyer to commit to each stage, from your initial meeting, proposal, pitch to after sales. To begin any sales conversations, you need to be asking open questions. These are questions which can't be responded with simple answers, such as yes or no. Using open questions in a sales environment can be excellent because they ultimately encourage your customer to engage, open up and participate in much more detail. They also provide you with further information that can be utilised and used to your advantage. The points you should be taking from open questions are as follows. Establish which of their needs are high priority. Show you understand what they want. Clarify your customer hasn't been to a rival or competitor. If they have, highlight how you differ from a competitor, such as free delivery, after-sales support, and so on. Establish that your customer will take the correct course of actions to move a sale forward. By asking questions, you're ultimately discovering their inner needs and desires. You're attempting to gauge what they want, so you can adjust your own performance accordingly. Once you have found out this information, you will instantly gain power over a customer, because every point you raise or any specification you highlight can be spun to fulfill the need they require. Over time, as this process becomes easier for you, you will quickly understand that the needs of humans is simply a deep characteristic that's in all of us. Every single person has a need, want or desire. And once you have unlocked this hidden secret, you will feel like a magician waving a wand. Think about your life, your friends and your family's lives. Think about what they do and what they say. They do these things because they have a goal, whether that's getting to work, going to the supermarket, or winning an award. Everything they do is built around goals. This principle is exactly the same when they want to purchase a product or service. For example, you go into an electrical store and the salesperson asks you, "What are you looking for?" You state you would like a new washing machine because your current model has broken and you need a washing machine to wash your clothes. You wash your clothes because this is not only hygienic, it's part of your personal appearance that you show the world. Deep down within your inner self, you know that if you smell, look dirty, or have an odour, people will judge you less favourably than if you smelt nice and pleasant. From this example, there's actually two characteristics coming into play. The first element is you need to wash your clothes, and the second is your desire to smell nice and maintain a good personal appearance. Once you have participated in an in-depth conversation and know exactly what your customer needs, you have built a relationship and reinforced your position of trust. You can then begin to use an array of techniques to close the sale. Before attempting to close any sale, it can be extremely beneficial to feed your customer's ego throughout your sales pitch. Listen and pay any compliments, which can be linked to what they're saying, whether that's their judgment, style, or mannerisms. By paying a compliment, you're immediately getting your customer onto your side. They will like you because you have liked a part of them. Equally, it can also be important to note that a customer's ego can also go hand in hand with their greed. Because at some time or another, we're all motivated by greed. Greed can make a person want a better car, nicer clothes, or a larger home than he or she may need. Greed can make people spend more money than they originally thought they would. A person's need becomes a want, purely down to their own ego-driven characteristics. You can always use a person's greed to your own advantage. You can use it to control and influence the conversation and a person's actions and behaviour. This greed has been built from their own inner characteristics, society's influence, and their social surroundings. Here's a basic list of people's ego-driven needs in no particular order. Personal power, money and financial success, approval and recognition, freedom, ego and pride, importance, social approval, love, self-esteem, the desire to win. Generally, people will do whatever is necessary to achieve these 10 basic principles. That's why you have to adapt your sales pitch to your customer so they resonate with one of the principles just listed. You have to understand that your product or service simply won't sell on its own. It's your job as a sales professional to highlight why your product is the best available on the market for your customer. Their needs, their wants, and their desires need to address when describing every single specification. The best salespeople influence their customers' decision-making process and make them believe that they can't live without the product or service they're selling to them. For example, I was speaking to a friend of mine called Paul. He sells televisions. He informed me that when a customer walks in and tells him what type of television they require, he already knows he's not going to sell them the one they want. He shows them 3 other possibilities, which are usually more expensive, and he lists the specifications against one another. The customer then realises that the more expensive TV has superior specifications and goes off their original idea of purchasing the product they came into the store to buy. This example clearly reinforces the 10 basic principles of people's ego-driven needs. Use this to your advantage and watch how people constantly crave more and more. Increasingly in the modern world, we're not actually selling products or services anymore. We're selling lifestyles, ideas and dreams. People buy products because of what it can do for them, what their ownership of the product represents, and how their ownership will enhance their own reputation among their family and peers. Think of the latest technological gadgets, such as smartphones. To own a mobile phone in the 1980s represented a social class. It represented status, and it reinforced a position in society. The purpose of the phone was to call anyone at any time. Likewise, today, a smartphone is still regarded as a symbol of social proof. People queue to own the latest model, so they can show off and boost their ego because of the additional status it brings with owning the device. Think about it in more detail. What's the only thing that hasn't really changed in a mobile phone over the years? The ability to actually call somebody. In the modern era, it's used to connect in various different ways, from social networks to instant messaging. So, what is a mobile phone sales professional actually selling? Are they still selling the ability to phone a friend, family or co-worker? Or are they selling the lifestyle, which is associated with owning a selective brand or model?